What's going on, Raider Nation? How are we feeling after this mostly unexpected W? That was, of course, through the mainstream media and everybody that was doubting us just because the circumstances that we're dealing with this week. I want to give a shout out specifically to all of Raider Nation, every single Raider fan out there that has dealt with everything going on, this complete flip over, I guess you could say, of our football team, of John Gruden and everything that was going on with that situation, and not expecting a football team to come out the way that they did. And I was really hoping that they would, and they pulled through for us and came out with a big W. I see the chat getting active. I want you guys to drop in there. You guys can see the live chat on here, whether you're watching through Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. All comments are combined here in this little chat group. I want you to drop where you're listening from or where you're watching this from live on YouTube. Drop a city, a state, an area code, a country. Raider Nation, you're worldwide. You know the cue. By the end of the show, at some point, maybe 20, 30 minutes in, I'm gonna take live callers again. So I'll drop the number on the screen. You can call in, and usually things get kind of jammed up. So I'm just gonna kind of take calls as they come in. And if I miss you, I'm sorry. There's usually a list of people that I can't get to. Terrence, what to do, Cody? Hey, you guys missed me. I see Louisiana, Texas. Shout out to Larry. Fresno, New Jersey, Utah. Get active in there, Raider Nation. Watching from YouTube. I appreciate that. Raider Nation, this show is obviously brought to you by SAHARA Las Vegas. If you don't know already, every single home game weekend, I'm hanging out there at SAHARA Las Vegas, usually inside of either the Cas Bar, Chickies and Pete's, might be inside or around their pool area soon. More details coming soon. They have a new Azilo Ultra Pool, gigantic LED screen outside. Might be watching it there, especially while the weather's good in Las Vegas. Shout out to Van Guy 209 in the chat. Appreciate the donation. Van Guy says, it's a new Raiders team again. Let's go. Let's go. I appreciate that, Van Guy. It is a new Raiders team. It was a little bit of a fresh start, and it was kind of ripping the Band-Aid off. What we dealt with last week was not, I don't want to say it was a distracted football team, but I could definitely tell you it was probably a distracted head coach. And we don't have to deal with this teeter-totter of what's going to happen for weeks, right? Don't get me wrong. I'm very sad for obviously, what happened with John Gruden. I don't stand behind his words, but obviously everything that he was going through and dealing with that time probably took a toll on the team and their overall performance of the team. So now with him, being out of the picture, we know what's happening. We know the outcome. We know what cards we were dealt at this point. So now we're able to focus on that and get a move along and hopefully get some more wins. I see you guys in there. Stockton, Riverside, Maryland, 3 miles from Allegiant Stadium. You must be lucky. Brazil. I see Brazil in the chat. Last week we sucked. Got to move on. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to move on. And again, like I said, SAHARA Las Vegas, every single home game weekend. I'll be there this weekend for the Raiders-Eagles game. You can use my promo code to get a room discount. So you use promo code on their website, LVCody, or you can go to raidercody.com/SAHARA. Use that code. And you get 20% off. You get $50 in resort credit. You get a 72-hour cancellation, 1 p.m. late checkout, free parking. It's amazing. Get in, especially if you're going to a home game. Let's hang out. Do pregame shows, postgame shows, special guests, probably with other YouTubers that you've watched. But I really want to get into this game. So, without messing around, let's just get into it. I was definitely wondering how we would come out after, John Gruden leaves, play calling could change. Do we set the tone differently? No, it was about the same. We're letting the run game dictate our pass game, right? A lot of running with Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs touched the ball probably 4 or 5 times, it seemed like, in that first drive. But then we opened that sucker up with that deep ball to Henry Ruggs. Henry Ruggs got me all the way amped up this game, dude. This is exactly what we drafted him for. Everybody that has criticized him, obviously his rookie year, as a rookie, which we've learned in the past, don't criticize a rookie because you don't know what they're going to turn into. And this is what Henry Ruggs has turned into. Just being an immediate, almost an all-around kind of threat at this point. He's getting some short to intermediate passes in there a little bit, but ultimately being able to consistently get open downfield is amazing. And he's got quite the connection with Derek Carr. He seems to be pretty reliable downfield coming up. I mean, contested 50-50 balls. He's coming down with them. Shout out to Van Guy again, 209 in the chat. Appreciate the donation. Van Guy says, it's like a new, fresh start, but repping the 209. This team looks like they have something to prove. Beat the Donkeys 1-0, new era, Raiders. I'm telling you. Raiders! Hope you guys are cheering it all week long. Rick Bisaccia, 1-0 as a head coach, undefeated. The new era feeling good. And again, Van Guy 209 in the chat, another one for the Carr haters. It's hilarious. Dodger fan 559. What were you doing in Visalia? I live next to Visalia there all the time. Glad you saw me. So Denver opens up, and again, that big touchdown pass to Henry Ruggs, like 48 yards, 49 yards, somewhere in that area. We just crossed midfield. Then that was like our first touchdown since like week 15 or something last year. So we went like 7 straight games or something going back into last year without a touchdown or a scoring drive on the first drive. So then Denver, for the first time since like 2019, they get their first touchdown on the opening drive. So Amik Robertson, he's getting picked on a little bit. Melvin Gordon, he's running through us. That first drive was looking a little ugly for our defense, right? Little did we know that first drive was going to be the only ugly drive for that defense. Adam Mahan in the chat. Shout out to Adam. How much of the game do you think was called by Carr? That's a good question. I'd say just a hair more than what we were getting from Gruden, because I think Olsen was very familiar and fluent with offense, and I still think finding a way to control the pace, because as much as Derek knows the offense and can control it if he wanted to, you're not just going to hand him the keys like that, because as a quarterback, what are you going to want to do? You're going to want to throw it most of the time. Even though he understands, you got to run it to set the tone. You want to give it to Jacobs. You want to give it to Drake. You want to play that small ball to kind of open things up. But I think he kind of still has to have that little bit of a leash just to make sure that it's a group effort and that it's, obviously just not all 100% on him, especially given the emotions this week between him and Olsen. I'd compare it really close to him and Gruden, except I think at this point now it's Derek making the decisions at the line and not completely 100% expecting to do what John would do, right? Where he's not out there making the choice. Man, I see this. John wants me to call this if he sees this. I think it's more Derek deciding that factor now. But I would say that the play calling, for the most part, the initial play call and the tempo being set was still Olsen. Love Coach Ole. Man, we took a big shot to Hunter Renfrow, second drive, field goal. Opening up the game with a touchdown, a field goal, even though Denver had a touchdown at the same point, 10 points on the board before the first quarter was even over, was a friendly sight, especially with a Denver Broncos team that, don't get me wrong, they're not superstars out there. They're not the best, but in the same breath, let me double check here real quick, make sure everything's connected right. They have a good defense, and it was a very competitive team, and they were still 3-2. They were 3-0 to start, and I'm glad that we weren't the team to go 3-0 and then fall 3-3. Denver was a team to go 3-0 and then fall 3-3. The way we ended that into first quarter, 5 seconds left or whatever it was, Derek gets the defense to jump off sides. We see him do it every time. Ended up getting Von Miller on it. Super random. Not something you'd expect out of Von Miller, but it's really cool to see. We end up with a great first down, get down in field goal range, and actually missed a field goal. Daniel Carlson. It's all right, buddy. You've done good enough for us this year, so I'm not gonna say anything on that missed field goal. We got lucky that next drive. They took a deep shot to Cortland Sutton early in the second quarter, their first possession of the second quarter. I'm pretty sure you guys remember that. Deep shot to Sutton. He laid out for it. Just inches away from it being a big completion. That was on third down. That led to a punt. Edwards is starting to get involved. Willie Snead comes in with a slant, drops the slant. I don't know what's going on, and I tweeted this, but I feel like Willie Snead, for whatever reason, like it's his role to go in there and run a slant, drop the pass. It's like it's what he does every single time. I love Willie Snead, and I feel like he's always been really reliable, but for whatever reason, we just can't get a connection going whenever he's in there. You can't, for a guy that's maybe going to see 1 or 2 targets a game, you gotta make the most of them. So yeah, we had a couple ugly drives in here. We had a punt. Denver punted. We punted again. Denver punted again. There's 5 punts in a row between both teams. So there was an ugly stretch there. Obviously, we're up 10-7. but you're trying to extend that lead before halftime. So then we get the ball, about a minute left, right? Denver had this about 2-minute offense, little over 2-minute offense. They couldn't get it down, so that fifth punt happens in a row. We get the ball. Waller gets involved big. Kenyon Drake. This ball to Kenyon Drake, you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. Beautiful throw. Down the sideline, dropped it right in the bread basket. We seen a throw just like that to a running back a couple years ago whenever Derek dropped it into Jalen Richard. But this one was beautiful. Down the sideline, into the end zone. Probably one of his, I'd say, top 5 throw of his career. I put it as a top 5 throw of Derek's career, easily. Obviously people could argue more, but given it was a first half throw, there wasn't a super ton of pressure on it. Yeah, big time throw. So we go up 17-7 before half, feeling good. Penalties already coming out of the second half. Go figure, right? I think it was on both sides of the ball. We're getting penalties. Trayvon Merrick, there was a jump ball thrown up deep down the field. He had the angle on it. He high pointed it, got up there, snagged it. Unfortunately, the wide receiver behind him broke it up. Almost an interception. Luckily, he gets another chance later. Josh Jacobs, big time screen pass, and then again, Kenyon Drake up the middle, wide open, runs it right in the end zone. Drake and Josh in full effect on that drive. Pretty much just a 1-2 punch right there. Those two big plays are what sent it in, and it was really cool to see a backfield now really contribute to the offense, and it almost seems like, hey, that's what we've been missing, let alone, just the offensive line playing the way they were. Also, I want to see you guys drop in the chat as I'm talking about the game, drop in some comments, questions, whether it's a position group, a specific play, anything. Yeah, could have had like 5 picks. Exactly. What do we end up with? 3? Could have had 5. Derek Dimes on Twitter. Shout out to Derek Dimes on Twitter. Good news, the Patriots just lost. Yep, the Cowboys came back. I saw that Trevon Diggs. Raiders are tied with Chargers for first place. Obviously, I think they have the tiebreaker, ME. Shout out to ME in the chat. But yeah, we're up there. The record's tied, and it's anybody's division right now. So it's looking pretty good. Obviously, it's not the Broncos division because we've seen how they played today. But yeah. So Denver gets the ball back. They travel into the red zone. They take a shot for the back of the end zone to Fant, I believe, and he had that. Obviously, his toe was out of bounds. And that started with the first weird Vic Fangio challenge. Denver threw the challenge flag on this ball. That was clearly out of bounds. Gosh, man. Nicholas Lawson, shout out to Nick Lawson in the chat. How can we stop guys like Sutton? Or how can we stop a guy like Sutton? That's a good question. We need to get probably Trayvon Mullen back. He's our most like kind of lengthy corner that kind of is handsy enough, kind of has that the ball skill enough to be able to play with these taller guys. Obviously, Amik Robertson wasn't the answer. Amik Robertson and Casey Hayward came out starting the game together. That didn't last too long. Insert Faison, who had a huge game, right? Huge game. And yeah, it's just, I guess, a matter of waiting for Trayvon Mullen to come back. That's really going to be our only answer to stopping a guy like Sutton. So otherwise it'd be Isaiah Johnson, but Isaiah Johnson I don't think is with us anymore. He might be on the practice squad, but Isaiah Johnson would be our big guy corner in a sense. So where were we? They challenge it. Obviously, it wasn't even close. Vic Fangio, dude, come on, man. They kick a field goal. So at this point, we're up 24-10, feeling good. Raiders get the ball back. Punt. Denver gets the ball back. Forced fumble. That was, who forced the fumble? Solomon Thomas came in, right? So there was a diving Teddy Bridgewater. Solomon Thomas comes in there. Boom, punches the ball out. Great. Recovered by Denzel Perryman. Then, let's not mess around. You know what I mean? It's one of those things to where foot on the gas, felt good. Deep ball to Henry Ruggs. Gets us inside the 5. Josh Jacobs walks it in. 31-10. Oh, excuse me. See, that's how tired I am after this game. It was such a nice, relaxing game to watch. I didn't scream my head off the whole time. I wasn't yelling at the refs. John Gruden in the chat. Hey, Raider Cody. John Gruden here. Would you like to let me borrow your email? No, thank you. No, thank you. Just keep using yours. You can make another one, a burner email or something like that. Facing look good. No more distractions. Let's go. See you guys in there. That branded dude looks solid. That's funny. We look way better than last week. We can carry this energy to next week. I agree. It's all about momentum in the NFL, and it's about how you can stack wins, right? Stacking wins, not just let's see here and there if we can get some wins. But do you think we can make any notable trade moves by the deadline? That's a good question. We'll have to see. Honestly, with the way our cornerback room is shaping up, I think that's going to be maybe a position that we target, or maybe even some offensive line depth. I think it's possible, especially if we're contending. Okay, so starting in the fourth quarter. Again, guys, make sure you stick around. I'm going to be taking live callers here as soon as this little game review wraps up. We'll talk about player of the game. You guys can start dropping in the chat right now. Actually, let's do that now. Drop in the chat who your lights out player of the game would be, because as soon as I wrap out this fourth quarter discussion, which shouldn't take long, that's what we're going to talk about next. So, fourth quarter, Denver drives down the field. Nate Hobbs almost takes the ball away. Amazing play. I don't care if it counted as a turnover or not. It was that close and it was that good of a play by that kind of player. See ball, get ball. Obviously, we know that saying. Hobbs being able to do that is promising. And even though maybe it didn't happen legitimately on the field, that play, it will soon in his future, because obviously he has that in him. So we get the ball, 3rd and 1 at some point, and bad false start. Denver's going crazy at this point, right? Because we're only up 31-17. There's a touchdown after that Nate Hobbs almost takeaway. 31-17. Denver crowd's going crazy. They think they got a chance back in this game because, they got half of our score. That's great. 3rd and 1, false start, which seemed kind of weird. I need to see that replay again, because it didn't really seem like that was a 100% false start. I think there was a little manipulation there by the defensive line. 3rd and 6, Bryan Edwards, one-hand catch, like 50 yards down the sideline. Amazing. Bryan Edwards coming up in the clutch has been great for us. Obviously, he gets his touches throughout the game, but fourth quarter, overtime, Bryan Edwards, you can pretty much rely on him. Denver gets the ball, deep shot, Trayvon Merrick, interception. Obviously, the Raiders burning clock, punt. Nate Hobbs almost has a strip sack. Denver goes down, scores, 34-24. Denver recovers onside kick. Then Jonathan Abram interception. So, feeling good. Derek Carr ends the game with 341 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, a passer rating of 134.4, better than what I would have expected. Josh Jacobs with 53 rushing yards, Kenyon Drake with 34 rushing yards. And it was really good to see Henry Ruggs, close to a 100-yard passing game. The targets were spread out. I mean, Ruggs had 4 targets, Edwards 4 targets, Waller 5 targets, Drake 2 targets, Renfro 5 targets, and then another 5 players with a target each. Jacobs, Moreau, Richard, Snead, Ingold. Really spread the ball out. I mean, even the longs for some of these players. Henry Ruggs coming up with a 48-yard reception. Edwards with a 51. Waller with a 33. Drake with a 31. Renfro 25. Jacobs 29. Being able to create those big plays like that was actually what really saved the game for us. So I'm seeing some of your guys' comments in here for Lights Out Player of the Game. Let's get into that. Yeah, let's get into this Week 6 Player of the Game for the Raiders Broncos. Woo! Man, it's dark in here, huh? My Lights Out Player of the Game is actually going to go to Henry Ruggs III. Henry Ruggs III, to me, was the guy that had enough catches to set the tone and really control the tempo. Henry Ruggs III is the dude that's been catching a lot of heat. He was the guy that whenever we took him before CeeDee Lamb, before Amari Cooper 2.0, he hasn't been able to get away from that unless he was clearly the best rookie wide receiver out of last year's draft. He was catching a lot of heat. Well, now him and Derek have a solid connection, and it's games like today. A lot of our wins this year have come because of Henry Ruggs III, and it's time to put a little bit of respect on his name. Henry Ruggs III, making me want to buy his jersey, but I mean, let's be honest. I mean, I have multiple players that we could have talked about. Derek Carr, obviously always in the conversation after a win. Kenyon Drake coming through with a few big plays. Nate Hobbs. Max Crosby. What did Max Crosby end up with? 3 sacks? 4 sacks? He was up there. If we can find it. 3 sacks. 3 sacks, a tackle for loss. I'd put Max Crosby in there. Telling you. Lights out player of the game, fellas. Henry Ruggs III. Drop in the chat. Tell me if you agree, disagree. Any other notable mentions that I didn't out of those guys? You know, Derek, Henry, Drake, obviously Edwards, Hobbs, Crosby. Drop in the chat. We're gonna start taking callers here soon. Yeah. Raider Nation, thanks for tuning in. Make sure you guys smash that like button. Hit that thumbs up while you're here. Hit that thumbs up while you're here. We're going to start taking live callers here. Drop that number on the screen right there. Bam. There's your number. Call in. Let's hear what you guys have to say. These are live callers. So be careful what you say. I'll cut you off real quick. You better put some respect on some of these players' names. Cut you off real quick. Give you guys a second. I know there's a little delay here while we're live streaming. Hit that 559-358-4347 on the screen. It's the Black Sunday Shop hotline. Make sure you guys visit blacksundayshop.com. Always rocking the Black Sunday gear. Got the Black Sunday hat on today. Decided to rock the Woodson jersey, but always rocking the Black Sunday. Get on their website, blacksundayshop.com. T-shirts, hats, beanies, pins, patches, stickers. Anything you need. Obviously, you got the sticker set here. Let's take let's get in here for this first caller. Let's see if we're in. I don't know if I took it or not. Let's see. Might have missed it. Caller, are you there? Nope, might have missed him. I think I accidentally hung up on him. That's all right. We'll take the next one. And again, as calls pile in, I kind of get a little messed up here, so hopefully I can get them all right. What happened to the lights? Talking Nation in the dark. Mr. Black, it's the lights out player of the game. You got to turn the lights out to talk about the lights out player of the game, right? Everyone listening to the post-produced podcast probably has no idea what we're talking about, but that's fine. I think Lamb is still a great player on this team we could have had. It's not the same, but I'm glad he is playing a lot better. Hope he grows to make me forget about Lamb entirely. I agree. Let's take this call. Why is it not letting me? I can't take calls right now, fellas. Let's see if this works. Okay. That's frustrating. Not letting me take calls. Let's try this again. Man. Trying to answer any of these like 6 calls coming in, and they're not coming through. Go figure, huh? Let's see if we can reboot it. Try it again. Sorry to like the 7 or 8 callers that have called in, and I'm sitting here trying to answer, and it's not coming through. It answers and then it immediately hangs up. So if your phone call's getting disconnected immediately, that's why. That's weird. We just tested it right before the show, too, and it was working just fine. Keep calling in. We just rebooted the system, see if it works through. Casey Hayward, notable mention. Yeah, he came out. He always comes out with a little nagging injury, but he always makes his way back in there. Trayvon Merrick with his first pick. I'd mention him in their lights out player of the game as well. Coach Rich for keeping team focused. I guess you can make that, lights out coach of the game. Absolutely. Gus Bradley stayed locked in. That was cool to see. Okay, let's try this again, fellas. Another call. And there we go. Calls are working. First caller, first official caller of the night. What is going on? State your name. Where are you calling from? Reedley, California. You're about an hour from me. Raider Nick, man, how are we feeling after this much needed win? Yeah, it was cool. Obviously, I think I just felt like getting the Band-Aid ripped off and knowing what's ahead of us now, knowing who our coaches are, what's going on, and hopefully, have no more bumps in the road. Hopefully, the NFL doesn't have anything else on us that they're going to hold over our head until the time is right. But I'm sure whoever made that decision to finally leak the emails that they had since June 2021, just a couple weeks ago, whoever made that choice is probably kicking themselves in the butt, because if anything, it might have made our team just a little bit better. I mean, we got the pieces. Ole and Derek obviously know how to run John Gruden's offense just fine, right? Yeah. Yeah, I agree. That's exactly what I was saying earlier a little bit. I mean, just seems like every win, Henry Ruggs has had a contribution to that. So, Raider Nick, I appreciate you calling in, man. I got a line of callers here. I'm going to take the next one and hope next time I do this to hear from you again, bro. And next caller, state your name. Where are you calling from? Phoenix, Arizona. What's up, Logan? So how we feeling, man, after this W? Got to be. Yeah. Wasn't it weird to have a almost a towards the end of the game, obviously, we're going through onside kicks and maybe the Broncos somehow have a chance to come back in the game, but to have a mostly what's going on here? Can't hear the caller. Let's see. What's going on here? Got a weird. See if that works now. Hopefully we can hear callers now. It's coming through kind of weird. Anyways, so how do you feel? I already lost my train of thought. So
no, you're.
Go ahead.
A big point I wanted to make, man. So I mean, earlier in the week, I remember a comment from Yannick, and he was like, "Man, third and outs are cool, but turnovers change the game." And that was the juice that I thought was missing, just watching from home, and just see the Raiders come together and put a complete performance together. It felt much needed. That was the dose that the doctor ordered. So I'm fired up, man.
Good, man. That's what I was gonna say. So it's it was weird sitting through a Raiders game and not be completely stressed the whole time, right? I mean, obviously we had a couple weird calls that we're dealing with. Having weird pre-snap penalties is a normal thing, obviously, for every NFL team. But for the most part, for it to be running really smooth, I'm not really sure what I'm going to do with all this extra energy that I had saved up specifically to take out on my television today.
Normally my heart's racing I don't know, like 200 beats per minute or something.
Yeah.
I have a question for you, though. I mean, what do you think about sliding Alex into guard? I felt like, I don't know, it kind of came together today. A little bit of the run game was working. I think he'll be all right. I don't know. Obviously the penalties are another conversation, but I think he's kind of finding his footing a little bit.
Yeah, 7. It showed it on the TV today. 7 penalties in the NFL, most of the NFL. And that's it's frustrating, but in the same breath, obviously he was struggling at right tackle, making the move to inside where we're really hurting for bodies, right? Obviously we traded away Gabe Jackson before the season. Obviously Richie Incognito's hurt, Denzel Good's hurt. It's hurting us for bodies on the interior of our offensive line right now. So moving him inside definitely, I think, was a smart choice. I'd like to see what that does for his future, like whether we try and move him back out to right tackle, whether we try and make him a full-time guard to see how he develops there, and then maybe try again, take another stab at replacing the right tackle. But as of now, for a Denver Broncos defense that seemed to have a pretty good defense, you know what I mean? A pretty good pass rush. Yeah. Von Miller was mostly absent the rest of the game.
I was going to say, Von Miller's on the other side, man.
Yeah, no complaints today, man. I think offensive line actually pulled through for us.
It's going to be time on task for him going forward, but I mean, we'll see, man. I'm just today, and I'm just happy for Coach Bisaccia to, step in and see everything come to fruition. So, yeah, man, let's go on to next week.
Good stuff, man. Caller, it was a Logan, right, from Arizona.
Logan out of Phoenix. Sure.
Phoenix, Arizona. Good stuff, man. Hey, good hearing from you. We'll talk to you again soon.
Have a good one, man.
You too. There we go. Okay. I just missed a caller as that call ended. Obviously, I keep getting callers coming through while I'm on the phone call, so you guys can keep calling in, and eventually I'll pick up your call. We'll take this next caller. Next caller, third caller of the day. State your name, man. Where are you calling from?
Yeah, this is Mr. Black from Honolulu.
Honolulu. Okay, so we haven't talked since last season.
Yeah, I haven't called in till today.
There we go. Yeah, this is my first time actually taking live callers this season, so you're good. I recognize the 808. I'm like, man, I know I've talked to this guy before. How are you feeling?
Hey, feeling real good, man. Raider Nation and the 808 is so happy. I think game ball for the whole team, coaches and players.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It was something that we definitely needed. Oh, real quick in the chat, Nicholas Lawson. I took your call first, and unfortunately, I had some technical difficulties. Let's do this next away game. Make sure you call in. I'll get your number down and make sure we do this right. So, man, Honolulu. Okay, so from your point of view, which is obviously a lot further away from the game than most of us. What does this do for the team morale going forward? And do you think Rich Bisaccia is going to be the guy that leads this football team the rest of the season?
Well, I sure hope so.
Yeah.
I mean, major spark. Everybody's playing with energy, playing fast, just playing different. They're a lot quicker. I don't see any problem with him coaching the rest of the season. Why bring in somebody else?
Yeah, throw a wrench in plans, right? Yeah, exactly.
And if we have a great rest of the season, might even keep him as head coach next season. Well, we got a great coaching staff. Like I say, game ball for the whole team and the coaches.
Yeah. No, yeah, that was good. It was cool to hear from a lot of former Raider players too.
I didn't get to see the game out here. They only show a few games,
gotcha.
In the television out here, so I had to listen to it on the radio, but hopefully NFL Network, how they replay games throughout the week. Hopefully they'll replay it and I can actually see it.
Yeah, hopefully that's one of them. Obviously, it was it wasn't a very close game, but hey, they might replay it at some point.
But I'll tell you what, Raider Nation is big in the 808. You go anywhere in the stores and stuff, and the stuff that's always sold out is Raider merchandise.
I love it. I know a few Raider fans that are in Hawaii. I met one actually in LA too. So have you seen the gear it's called it's like Aloha, but it's with the owl logo in it?
Yep. Oh yeah. Yeah, I follow them, 808 Raider Nation, and they got their own clothing which represents Hawaii and the Raiders together. It's very cool stuff. Very cool stuff.
Yeah, that's really good. Really good. Mr. Black out of Honolulu, appreciate you calling in. And next time we do this, hope to hear from you again, bro.
Yeah, I sure will. All right, brother. Go Raiders!
Raiders, let's go, baby. Let's take that next call. Nope, missed him. I keep doing this every time. I'll sit on a call while they're calling in and then miss them as soon as they come through. There they come again. Let's see. Fourth caller, one of my last callers. State your name, man. Where are you calling from?
Hey, my name is Arturo Granados, man, and I'm a huge Raiders fan, Derek Carr supporter too as well.
There we go.
What's the call I want to say is I was watching your video right now, and I've been following you on Twitter as well, and I like to say I'm happy for the win, and I knew Carr can get it done. However, do you think he played a lot better, Carr played a lot better, that like Gruden's not there, like making him throw more? Like he's throwing more deeper instead of conservative.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, it could be, man, because no one's gonna know what Derek's the most comfortable with more than Derek. Obviously, him and John have a chemistry there, but I think once kind of, I'm not gonna say he got better without John necessarily, but I think it's given Derek just a little bit different element, and it's also kind of throwing a spin on things to opposing defenses because before they're studying stuff that John Gruden was doing, and now out of nowhere, you're kind of just getting a remix with Derek Carr, making the adjustments and throwing in what he thinks, and a little bit more Carr tendencies than Gruden tendencies. So I agree with you definitely in a sense.
Okay, and I really want to see our run game to get better. I think once our run game gets better, Carr is going to be even better, such a better position to lead this team to win many wins.
Yeah, and I think it also starts with our offensive line staying steady. Today they did a lot better. They opened up some more holes. Felt like they did pretty good, but I think I completely agree with you. That's what set the tone today. Josh Jacobs getting the ball quite a bit, and I think we got to keep that as our bread and butter and see where that takes us.
Oh yeah, all right. Hey man, it was good talking to you, man. I just want to jump on and share this win with you, man, and every other Raider fan as well. But you guys take care, man. Take care.
Yeah.
Right,
hey,
man.
Good talking to you, Art.
Likewise. All right. Bye-bye.
Good call there. Shout out to Art in the 559. Obviously where I'm at in the 559 too. One Nation Fanware, shout out. Olsen opens up the middle of the field different than Gruden. He's always been like that. I agree. And that you saw that even with there was the big Hunter Renfrow catch. That was a beauty. Carr ended with a 134.4 rating. Love to see it. Only beat the Broncos by 10 and people all giddy. Next week versus Eagles will show really who the Raiders are before the bye. Yeah, I agree. But, I mean, we pretty much had this game locked down, and that was just, kind of almost garbage time, them just last-ditch effort, doing whatever they can to make it a game. So we obviously controlled the game the entire time. There's really no reason for me to feel stressed the entire time, and for me that's a big win. One of the biggest wins that we've had in a while. I mean, I'm not going to say because of the matchup or because of things like that, but I'm going to say one of the biggest wins that we've had in the sense of we dominated the game to a team that, I mean, had a winning record, 3-2. Whatever you say, they're 3-0. Obviously, they're against crap teams. Shout out to Donkey fans for riding that wave. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. But, I still think it was very worth it. I missed a couple callers in there. I'll probably take one more before we end this live stream. Shout out to the chat again for tuning in. Make sure you smash that like button. And join me live every home game weekend at SAHARA Las Vegas. I'm kind of all over in different locations inside of SAHARA, but that's the good thing about SAHARA is they have a lot of different areas for us fans to go hang out. Casbar was great to be there. We hung out in their luxury lounge there right off the casino floor for a few weeks. Then their brand new sports bar, Chickies and Pete's, which I'll be in doing my pregame show for sure this coming Saturday night. In there hanging out. Gosh, man, it was a lobster roll before I left on Sunday night. Amazing. Probably, I mean, the seafood in there, unreal. The crab fries, seasoned crab fries, loaded crab fries. They have the dipping sauce. Everything was amazing. It's exactly what you look for. It's a crab house and sports bar. What else do you need, Raider Nation? Oh, maybe an ultra pool. They have an ultra pool outside. Big LED screen. Come through, hang out. RaiderCody.com/Sahara. Use promo code LVCody for 20% off. Lou Flores. Hey, Cody, what's going on, man? DC trusted his receivers more than usual. He threw up 2 passes today. I know he didn't see being caught. Quentin Hood. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those like shuts his eyes. Like, I know Ruggs is out there somewhere a couple times. But, yeah, I mean, he trusts them. He knows where they're going to be and trusts that they're going to go take a shot. Or, let's see. Did Carr get hurt in the game? Notice glove on the non-throwing hand after he threw one of those bombs to Ruggs. Interesting. I'm not sure. I'll have to find out. Sure, he's fine though, especially if it's non-throwing hand. At least I think we're okay. Might have been something along the lines of with the dropped, if it was like a mishandled snap that we had at some point. Maybe he put a glove on to see if he can get a little bit better grip in case his hand gets hit by that pulling guard again. Let's see. I like Coach B. The team looked balanced. Hopefully they can keep it up. Chucky and Mayock built a solid crew. I agree. Okay, let's take this. I don't know why I'm not coming through anymore. Skype thing ain't working out very well right now. We'll get that thing dialed in for next week. But Raider Nation, hope you guys enjoyed the win. 4-2. 4-2 sounds pretty good, doesn't it? 4-2 sounds pretty good to me. I'm sitting pretty happy. I'm going to sleep like a baby tonight on 4-2. And now I'm going to go barbecue some burgers and hang out with the family. Hope you guys get to enjoy something like that too. Sit on this victory. Enjoy your victory Monday. Wake up tomorrow for work, ready to go, just like the Raiders did given the circumstances. And from there, Raider Nation, until next week, see you guys at SAHARA Las Vegas, and let's hang out. See you guys soon.